I want to welcome you all to the press conference where we're launching the Digitainment white paper. I want to take a few minutes just to recognize a few people in the audience that have done a lot of work to make this happen. First of all, Lisa Sherman from Gwinnett County. She's done a tremendous job. We appreciate it. And then the members of the Digitainment board that have worked hard for the last almost 2 years to get this to happen as well. Dan Wedver, just raise your hand. Amberville Pesher, Mark LeBeau, Jesse Lindsley, over there. Raise your hand, Ron Crawford. Andrew and Willa Ontley and Bob Zach.
On behalf of Atlanta City Council and everyone at the City, Mayor Reed and Council President Mitchell, we really are big advocates and supporters of Digitainment. Everything across the board, from film, music, to interactive. I mean, it means a lot. Fashion, even. I mean, it's time to make Atlanta become a place that's truly on the map, and I think it's up to us to do it. The collective work of you all in this room, as well as the city and other folks in the business community, can make it happen, and we're excited about it. And I just thought I'd bring a proclamation out to honor the film festival. This is a group that I've kind of just taken a special affinity to. I think I'm trying to be in a film or something, but I never get to be an extra, to be honest, but I try. So I think if I give maybe 5 more proclamations, I'll get in one after I'm elected. But I wanted to present this proclamation, and if Caroline and anyone else from the festival, Candace, would come over. This is in honor of the Atlanta Film Festival 2010, whereas the Atlanta Film Festival leads the community in creative and cultural discovery through the moving image, and whereas its vision at the intersection of art, culture, and commerce is to bring meaning to the moving image by championing shared community experience, fostering the free exchange of ideas, and nurturing the development of a thriving industry. Whereas the Atlanta Film Festival is the largest and longest-running festival in the region, the most distinguished event in its class, and one of the only 24 Academy Award qualifying festivals in the U.S. And whereas this year the festival has hosted its first Celebrate the Business of Entertainment luncheon and will be presenting an investors conference in the fall of 2010 in accordance with the National Governors Association Best Practices Brief to cultivate local film activity by supporting film festivals and other events that engage the community. Now, therefore, we, the members of Atlanta City Council, and on behalf of the citizens of Atlanta, hereby recognize the 34th Atlanta Film Festival on the 16th day of April 2010, signed by all of my colleagues on City Council. Congratulations, and thank you all for what you do. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know what you mean. I am Asante Bradford. I'm with the Georgia Film, Music, and Digital Entertainment Office, which is a division of Georgia Department of Economic Development. And for me, this is a very exciting day because I actually work on the Digital Entertainment Liaison, so all the digital entertainment stuff that's been happening is only going to help me as I go out and sell Georgia. So I wanted to talk about our tax legislation that Senators we've all got a chance to talk about. Not only are our incentives very important, but we also have a very talented workforce here and a lot of vast resources that put Georgia out in front of the pack. Now, the best picture of Georgia and our digital entertainment is to be found in a comprehensive 85-plus page white paper which has been compiled and produced by the Gwinnett Chamber Technology Council. So very excited about this digital white paper, and I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about that a little bit today. Real quick, I just wanted to say a couple of thank yous because a lot of this wouldn't have happened without some very key people. The Gwinnett Chamber, with Nick Casino, Lisa, and Nicole Wright. I know we've already gone around to you guys a little bit. Thank you for all your help in putting this together. I want to recognize Melanie Brandt, who's now COO of the Technology Association of Georgia, who helped us from the pre-planning stages to the planning stages to actually having the white paper right now. I'd also like to thank Digitainment for their work in collaborating and making this happen. So Audra, Dan, and Frank, thank you guys. And it's amazing what one meeting and a couple of ideas can create. So very exciting stuff. And last, I'd like to thank the Atlanta Film Festival for hosting us here today. Dave, Dan, Paula, and Charles, and other members, thank you so much for putting this together, and very excited. Now we'll hear from industry experts, and I'd like to thank you guys first off too for making my job much easier. I probably wouldn't even have a job if it wasn't for Chris, who in 2005 decided to let's add video gaming to this. So thank you.
You're welcome.
One of you guys. And my wife and kid, thank you. So now I'd like to introduce Richard Warner with What's Up Interactive. And as a quick introduction, I'd like to say that we are celebrating somebody's entertainment for 20 years today.
Yesterday. Opened our doors 20 years yesterday.
So,
Asante, thank you. It's amazing being an entrepreneur, as many of you know. Good times and bad times, and I wouldn't trade it. We have a great panel, and we're going to go 25 minutes. JG, you know what that means?
Yes, sir.
25 minutes. So, he's a broadcaster. He understands time. Let me introduce first Karen Lennon. Karen was Interactive before Interactive was cool. She is founder and president of Beyond Z, which focuses on interactive television. Her work on the HBO series Band of Brothers won an Emmy. UGA grad, Georgia State grad. And in a prior life was one of the first interactive people at the Weather Channel. Jeff Johnson, JJ from Peachtree TV, familiar face, serves as executive director of community affairs at the station that actually launched the Turner Empire way back in the 70s. His mom worked for Sears, and when he was 13, he started as his career as modeling for the Sears catalog. And it was, what was it? It was corduroys?
Corduroys and a flannel. Y'all know how, in the catalog, everybody, they have the little pose where you had football, always had a football in my head. So, yes.
And look how far we've come. All right. Tammy Hurt has just been named as the incoming president of the Atlanta chapter of the Grammys, and she's an entrepreneur, too. I hope you don't lose your hair as I did. She is president of Outsource Events, an event management firm that gets logistical planning and execution of customer events. She helps companies find and license music. Is this, how did I sum it up okay?
You did. It's we actually have a catalog of music to license and a creative team that creates original compositions.
Chris Klaus, what a story. Founded Internet Security Systems in his dorm room at Georgia Tech, sold it to IBM 4 years ago for $1.3 billion, reinvented himself as the CEO and founder of Caneva, a multiplayer online game platform set in a 3D world. Shay Griffin. If a movie gets cast in this part of the country, Shay helped cast it. She got her start in 1984, has cast movies. I'm going to do you a disservice because the more movies I name, the more we're going to miss. But remember The Titans, We Are Marshall, Stomp the Yard, My Cousin Vinny, many others. Works closely with Tyler Perry. She's a treasure to this industry. Dan Darling is a rock star at Turner. Dan started there 25 years ago. Could we call it entry level?
Pretty much.
20 grand a year, something like that?
Something like that, right?
And has risen to become
now.
CEO of the organization, the man in charge of all technology globally for Turner, a very influential person in this room. As we go through, if you have questions, please raise your hand. I'll call on you. And let's get started. Have you all seen the white paper? And just briefly, what are your impressions of it? What does it say? What does it say about us? Don't be shy. JJ, I know you won't be shy.
First off, in viewing it, the initial blush that I get out from the white pages and from everybody that I've met so far is the energy and the passion that everybody has for their specific industries and the overall, I think, betterment of promoting these industries across the board. It's well thought out. It's concise. My dad used to tell me all the time, keep it simple, son. And that's exactly what I see in this. It's very simple. It really hits home the point that Georgia has a lot to offer. And that's very exciting.
So you put all this down in paper, and it's multiple pages. What does it tell you we need to do? What's the next thing we need to do as you look at this, you see what resources are here? What do we need to be setting our sights on?
Well, I believe, from the music industry perspective, we've been searching for a long time to create community. And I think that what this white paper shows is the entertainment industry as a whole. It basically breaks down the silos, and we are all in a great position here in Georgia. And, it's not just about the film industry or music industry. It is about a community.
How do we grow? How do we succeed if we break down those walls?
Well, I was just going to say, I think that's one of the most exciting places we happen to be right now, is that we've come a long way from when we first started with this, when GVP was founded some years back, and we were struggling to keep our industry in Georgia alive. And where we have come from that day to now is an amazing step. People like myself who were hard-headed and kept saying, no, I'm not leaving, I'm staying here. I could go to LA and work, but why would I leave? I wanted to be here, and I wanted to make this industry a part of everything I wanted to do in the film industry. And I always had that great friendship with people that were in the music industry and the other areas that were part of our community here. And I think that standing where we are today, this is such a great absolute statement of who we are as an industry that fought so hard to be sure that we stayed alive, that we did go and talk to people like the governor and to various legislative body people who would listen to us. And we really were able to be instrumental in getting the tax incentive passed that has made such a huge difference in what's happening in Georgia. It's so great to hear Rob say, people in LA now say, what's happening in Georgia? I remember that in the 90s when I would go out to Los Angeles and people would go, what's going on in Georgia? Because that was the first blush that we had. But we messed up that time and took it for granted. This last time around, I think we realized we can't be taking it for granted. We've got to be strong. We've got to stay united and bring all the many things that we have to bear. We are an amazing community here with what we do in the way of entertainment. I don't know that there are too many communities like us anywhere else. So I think training, really getting information out there. We need to work on making sure people understand how the tax credits work and how that they benefit. We've got to do the full scale. We've done one part of it, now we've got to complete it by doing the education to the public out there and to other people to support our industry. So I think really being united as we are and then creating as much education as possible about what this industry is about and what it does for this state.
Dan, when New York, LA think of Atlanta, what do they think of as it relates to this industry?
Let me say also that what Shay is saying is exactly right. When we went out there to Los Angeles and won that Emmy, that first one back in 2002, I don't think anybody even knew the state of Georgia existed. Nobody even knew where we were or what was going on, but it never occurred to me to
What year was that? How long
2002
ago?
was the first Emmy for interactive television. And, I've always found such great talent here. I've never even thought to look anywhere else. Why would I? It never even occurred to me to think that LA or New York would be better than the people that I can find here. So, my soulmates in the industry are here, so I wouldn't even think twice about it. I think Shay is right in that, we think of ourselves sometimes as having to look elsewhere for talent, but we really don't. I never did. And when we won that Emmy, no one in the industry thought that was going to come our way. And it did, and it always will. That's the thing.
Dan, back to that question.
So
what do they think of this?
I think they're quite jealous, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Again, to give you a little prescriptive,
Yeah,
Turner Studios, which I've had the fortune of working with and being part of for years, they're pulling in a lot of LA work. BET, to give you a prime example. BET used to shoot a couple of their major series like Monique and Sunday's Best in LA, in studios there, and they've moved that here to Atlanta.
Dan, I just went and saw those studios. They're fantastic.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Thank you
Fully
very
outfitted, HD all around. Fantastic.
Thanks. But again, what do they think of us? I think from a talent standpoint, when you look at the influx of theatricals and series being shot here, it's drawing more and more talent to this area, which is great for all of us. It's what it's all about.
Yep.
The economy benefits, we benefit. The type of work, the technology, the infrastructure, all these things are critical to building mass to make Georgia even better state. We top you by 2, Richard, in What's Up Interactive, 20 years. Well, Turner is celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. So, again, it means that the relationship between the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia and Turner has been a great marriage for years. It started back in the early days with Ted, and it continues to grow even without Ted now. But again, it's been a great marriage, and it just continues to grow leaps and bounds. So.
Interactive television, talent, music, casting, technology, gaming. It's kind of the hidden element that is about to explode.
Absolutely. And I think, so I'll talk about that a little bit. I think this white paper helped catalog all the resources we have in Georgia, and I'd say the one area that we can really take a huge step forward is, really start to project, like, how do we brand and make people aware of Atlanta having all these resources? Because I actually don't think most people outside of Atlanta know about all the resources we have and all the capabilities. And so one of the things that I think we can do is say we've got film, and I think inside the music industry, that we've got music here, but I'm not sure on a national level how well branded we are for overall entertainment. And I think video games is one of the pioneering areas that's growing. When you go online nowadays, there's like 80 million people playing Farmville. I don't know if you guys, anybody got some sheep or goats or whatever. You're gonna, and ultimately you're seeing that's one of the biggest, fastest growing markets out there. And I think we're very fortunate with a lot of the schools here in Georgia, with SCAD and Georgia Tech and many others that are graduating really bright minds. And how do we grow that industry here? And that's going to be our opportunity to really go out there and this is a great step forward.
Also, the performing arts high schools that we have, which are publicly funded, are public high schools.
Sure.
Which have performing arts kids that are being recognized by producers in Los Angeles and New York. Our talent here is not just on the college level. It comes all the way up through the high schools as well.
Sure.
Well, and the other thing I want to add, too, about the white paper for the music industry, it's a huge resource for us. We want to do exactly for the music industry what's been done for the film industry and for gaming. We want to attract investment companies here to invest in digital distribution companies that we don't want them to go to New York or L.A. We want them to come to Georgia. And we want to create such a community here that we can sustain ourselves, that we can sustain the kids coming out of school that are being trained here, that are taking advantage of all this wonderful education, and we want to create that community here in Atlanta. And the white paper has given us a really great opportunity to get a perfect snapshot of what the entertainment industry looks like right now.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Multifaceted, multicultural, multi-talented. One of the things that I'm taking away from this in our to-do list is branding. Anybody want to blue sky that? Does that mean every day is an opening day? Is it something different in the way that we? Is it something different in the way? Do we do it by vertical? Do we?
Win or go home. How's that?
I mean, go jump in.